Let's talk about John Mulaney's special, Baby J. This is the special that Mulaney released following some very serious and public issues with addiction, and most of the special kind of revolves around that. If you're suffering from anything similar, please reach out to someone who can help. You don't have to be famous for people to care about what happens to you. This special is on Netflix. Go give it a watch there, link below, and then come back for some sweet, sweet critique. First of all, let me say this is a long boy. Just about an hour and 20 minutes of stand-up comedy. Mulaney's got a lot to say, and given how polished his style is, he must have been obsessing over this for a while. The special starts, in a way, almost before it starts, as if Mulaney is chomping at the bit. We hear him doing jokes before we see him.
The past couple years, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I've realized that I'll be fine as long as I get constant attention.
Other specials might start with a slideshow pumping up the comic, or the comic themselves hyping up the crowd. Not this one. When we finally do see Mulaney, there's some fancy camera choreography where someone, I'm guessing with a Steadicam rig on their body, is do-si-doing around him as he delivers material. He must have said to the crowd, okay, listen guys, there's going to be a quick minute here while we get this shot for Netflix, so just humor me and this cam team as we do some square dancing. Anyway, we're into the material with a story about Mulaney when he was young. And I'm noticing here that Mulaney is using a lot of pauses within sentences.
And that my real mother had been murdered by Miss America.
It's something that we talked about in Todd Barry's latest special too, using pauses to get more laughs out of a sentence in progress. I have been able to make this work by staring at the crowd before, just making it clear that there's space for laughter, but I think it helps here that Mulaney is very famous and this is a very receptive audience. Having said that, as I'm rewatching further into the special, I think a lot of this is just craft and being comfortable on stage, because as Mulaney gets into the material about unimportant grandparents, he really starts to work those pauses.
So you don't want to kill one of the important ones. But you could kill one of the unimportant ones.
Maybe I'm just projecting, because trying to get to these really quiet, understated moments is something I was working on before the pandemic, but still, I found them impressive. A few times I've thought of jokes that would require me to sing. Now, I'm not a very good singer, but I do have a lot of time on stage as a singer-songwriter. I also have to say, I've never been in an open mic and seen someone sing and thought, yeah, that was a good choice. But Mulaney does a little song to ease us into the material everybody's kind of waiting for.
We all went to rehab and we all got divorced, and now our reputation is different.
And it gets a big laugh, so clearly it's all about the right person in the right moment. Right after this, there's the title sequence, which we kind of skipped at the beginning, meaning this whole 10 minutes has been a sort of cold open. When we see Mulaney again, the lights in Boston Symphony Hall change from warm to cool. Mulaney gives a sort of dateline.
December 18th, 2020. Henry, you were about to go on Christmas break from the 3rd grade.
As we discussed in the video about Eliza Schlesinger's storytelling, the material we're getting into here is factual, which means Mulaney's gonna have to thread the needle of giving us all the detail a story needs to exist, but also including enough jokes along the way to satisfy whatever jokes per minute target he wants to hit. Since he's in front of a symphony hall of his fans, and he's discussing a very public series of personal problems though, he's going to get a ton of latitude that regular comics like you or me would not get doing storytelling comedy at an open mic. For the most part, when comedy writers set out to write about their experiences with drugs and addiction, I think it can be problematic because so many of us have had or are having problems with drugs and other addictions. The subject is very well trodden. Seth Meyers and Fred Armisen probably are not going to be at our interventions. So Mulaney's got a pretty big head start on us in terms of extra spice to make the story fun to listen to. But I don't want to take anything away from him either, because he really does have tons of craft and polish. In terms of what any comedian can learn, I think, as usual with Mulaney, the takeaway is polish. His style gives the impression that every syllable is timed down to the microsecond, And it's the same story with the way that he presents himself and the way the special is produced. Overall, this one's worth a watch if you don't know Mulaney or his troubles, and a must-watch if you're already a fan.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and maybe jump on the Patreon if you want to help me make more. And if you want to talk about comedy writing with people who are trying to do it in a constructive way, we also have a Discord channel.